Alright, what do we got to talk about on the ride home? And this would be Tuesday's ride home, in case you're wondering. So, first and foremost, Cliff High has released his Bare Naked Wealth. I think it's number 7. Interesting read. Not just for crypto purposes, a few other little tidbits in there that are pretty interesting. He does go over some new cryptos, some old cryptos, how they may perform according to the data towards the end of this year, towards, well, not towards, but into 2018 and beyond. Some, again, good looking news for cryptos. But first, I'll tell you a little story about my mama. Mama, ooh, she didn't mean to give me this psychic prediction. So, you know my story about my mom, psychic, ability, who nailed everything about this house we bought before we bought it. Didn't know what house I was moving into, by the way, she didn't. And told me about, when the inspector's there, I'm seeing a few things, but these 2 main things, this and that, and it might not be the inspector. It could be like the guy showing you the house, or maybe they fix an area, or they're gonna fix an area before you move in, or something, and water used to pool up, but it doesn't do that anymore now. Something along those lines. Sure enough, the guys give me a tour of the house after the inspection. It's just I'm building you up just to remind you of how she got this right. Over by the pool, when it rains hard, water would come down off this one part of the roof, down into that area, and if it was super duper raining hard, it would go into kind of where the patio area is, because it's all wide open, but the patio area is covered. But the rain so powerful would, falling down from the roof would go in there and pool up in that area. So the guy says what we did to stop that, first of all, we put a gutter over on this side to catch the rain, but even on a powerful rain, some would still come over. It wouldn't catch all of it, and it could get in, a little bit could go in there. So what we did is we put this little grate in the ground, so that if it does do that, the water hits the grate, goes off to the left, goes off to the right outside, and you don't have to worry about it coming into this area anymore. So I'm thinking, oh my God, this is pretty much exactly what my mom described to me. And she mentioned some other little small thing, like maybe under the sink, a kitchen pipe, something, nothing major though. Sure enough, the inspector under the bathroom downstairs, the basically half bath, no bathroom, just toilet, no shower, no tub, anything like that. That valve, when you go to shut the water off, it drips a little bit and then stops. When you open it back up, it drips a little bit, but then it stops. Again, do I need to fix that? No. It's the valve that, again, leaks a little bit when you turn it. Not a big deal. Like, I feel like, show me a house that doesn't have that. You know what I mean? Like, maybe every house I've ever touched one of those things, and it seems like one of those things would at least do that. Anyways, not a big, I gotta fix that. Not an issue at all. But my mom did pretty much call that, among some other things I mentioned to you previously. Now, and I'm just gonna tell you this, for the new people may not have heard this, my new subscribers. When my mom was pregnant with me, I'm trying to think. I think my sister was already. My sister was about a year and a half older. I think she was pregnant with me. She's telling me this story, a long time ago. But we lived in California, San Diego. She's having these horrible nightmares, my mom, of this fire raining down from the sky, just coming down, literally almost night after night after night. Tells my dad, I can't take it anymore. We've got to move out of this apartment complex. If all right, give me a little bit of time. No, a little bit of time goes by. She's still having them. We haven't left. They didn't move yet. That's it. If we don't get out of here, I'm leaving. We have to get out of here. I can't just keep having these dreams like this. There's something to this, Alright, we finally move out, get the new place. My dad at the time had a little ice cream truck business. He'd been driving on his little ice cream truck, had a buddy with him. Explosion in the sky, they look up, small commuter plane, another aircraft collide. Fireball raining down, San Diego, California. my dad, they can see it. Oh my gosh, let's go over there. The guy says to my dad's like, all right, but I don't want to look at that. Like, he's thinking of the bodies and stuff. I don't want to see that. And all right, go. So the guy gets out. He goes over there, sees people looting, finger rings and necklaces off of dead bodies, mushy bodies that fell out of the sky. You know what I mean? And anyways, guess where the plane parts and fireballs landed? The old apartment complex that they used to live in. So, it's just fascinating to me that people have that ability, even though it's my own mom. But so anyway, she told me, Joe, I see you moving. I absolutely see you moving. You're gonna be moving soon. This was prior to us getting this house. And I didn't tell her anything about the house, where it was at, nothing. I definitely see you moving. She says, I see this kind of, like, almost like this kind of weird, you gotta do this, but you gotta give me that, and I'll give you that back, and this amount of time, and like there's something, it's not just a cut and dry, we're gonna move in or whatever. I was like, Mom, I know exactly what you're talking about, because we've already discussed this, and I've already agreed to it, and he had to relinquish one of the things he wanted, and I had to, and basically he wants me to move in for 3 months before we close. I don't want to move in 3 months early, it's too early, but I'll move in for 2 months. He conceded, he agreed to that, but I got to give him first month, last month, security deposit up until this particular date, and if we close earlier than that date, then he's gonna give me some of the money back, of course, because of the rent, but if we stay longer, I'll have to pay more, whatever, and I have to use his pool guy while I have the house, that kind of thing, all this different stuff. So anyways, she's she's telling me all this, and I'm thinking, I already made this deal, and yes, it was a little weird like that, but we made the deal, and it worked, and he accepted the offer, and I had to also give him $10,000 as part of the deal as a down payment, which if we fall through at the end after we move in or anything, it doesn't matter, he's keeping the 10 grand and the security deposit and all that stuff. So, okay, I agree, that kind of thing we had to do. But again, my mom picked up on this. I didn't tell anybody about this. Yeah, so that was really neat. It's kind of fascinating for me. Again, even though it's my mom and I know her, doing that. And her thing is, reading palms. It's not so much reading it, like, oh, let me see that line on your hand. See these lines? Oh, you got a long, lifespan. Yeah, she looked at that stuff just for whatever. It's her touching the hand. When she touches your hand and she's kind of moving her thumb or fingers on your hand, rubbing that touch, images come to her about you. That's how she works. That's how it's always been. That's how I've always known her. That's how she's always done it. So I'd ask her every great once in a while when I'm really thinking about something, Mom, can you give me a reading? So before we did the house thing, Mom, can you give me a reading? You are moving soon. Done. Wow, interesting. You see any problems, house, because I was worried about my credit thing. I had a foreclosure not that long ago that I got wiped off my record because I disputed it and some other things, whatever, as I've mentioned to you guys. But I'm thinking, they can still maybe do some kind of check and see that there was a foreclosure, maybe check the court paper record, something. And I was nervous about that. I'm going to lose $10,000 down payment, find out, this fell through. She said, no, I don't see any issue. I don't see any problem. I see, I see you moving and living in somewhere else. It's going down, or it's going to happen. So long story short, we closed a couple weeks ago now. We've closed on the house. It's ours. I've got a guy coming out to do gave me a quote, $3,700 to do everything I want in my little crypto cave, by the way, which is take the AC out of the window, put a hole in the wall behind me, over here off to the side, nice professionally. They're going to put up wall board. They're going to reroute some electrical stuff. They're going to put up insulation in all the walls, all that stuff too. They are going to put a roof ceiling up, insulation as well. Going to put a wall up with a door in it. Going to do a little bit of roof repair on that building it needs. And anyways, $3,700 parts, material, everything, labor. I'm like, I talked to my boss who has a contractor background. He's like, man, that doesn't sound bad at all. That sounds very fair. Great. Get her done. So I'm now psyched up about that. Going to get that done. Having said that, speaking of hooking up this room and getting it all nice for me to stay there forever in my property, my mom tells me, emailed yesterday, well, 2 days ago technically, because I'm trying to think, it was either Sunday or Monday. Anyways, I just got a vision. And sometimes she doesn't have to touch you to feel your hand or anything to get it. And when she gets it, she still gets it. Let me just say that. You are moving. You are going to sell that house and move in 2 years. You are moving into a new house, and you will sell that house in 2 years. The house we're in now, excuse me, Mom? I'm just telling you, I see it, you are moving in 2 years. I said, are we like Tampa area or anything? She said, I have nothing else. I don't know anything else about it at this point. I just know you are moving in 2 years. And I'm thinking to myself, oh man. And to be honest with you, as psyched as I was about this house and everything, and the property, it's beautiful and it's peaceful and I just love it. My wife isn't like super jazzed about the house itself. She's like, I'll be honest, I wish we could have took the old house we rented and just put it here. I really like the layout of that house. Of course, it was also 2 stories, which we don't really like. We've decided a while back, man, we're going to get a single-story house when we move. Well, this opportunity came up, again, kind of out of nowhere. It all lined up, cryptocurrencies. I sold off some of them, down payment. This house is beautiful. Let's get it. Yeah. It's a 2-story house, though. But it's beautiful, and that's why we had to jump on this thing. So my wife, I forwarded it to my wife. Hey, Evelyn, guess what? And she's like, oh, wow, wow, 2 years. That's interesting. Your mom said that. Did she say anything else? Nope, that was it. That's all she said. I asked her, what else? Tell me. She said, nope, there's nothing else. That's all I got right now. You are moving in 2 years. Roughly. Not exactly to the date, obviously, but that kind of thing. So I'm like, son of a gun. I'm about to hook this room up. I got some furniture, all black, like, what they call like theater seating or whatever, I guess, in your house, where, I don't know if it's really theater, whatever. It's kind of a love seat, if you will. 2 seats. They both recline. They're next to each other, but divided in the middle by a little drink cup holder / thing you open up, put your remotes and knickknacks in. So you got 2 people who can sit there with that in the middle. I ordered another one of those, so now there's 4 people sitting with access to drinks and stuff. And a recliner. $899, all brand new from this place in Tampa. They delivered it a day late. That's okay, though. I would have paid probably triple that for what I got here. And I'm thinking, look for the scratches, the marks, they got to mess up, don't sign off on this. I signed off. Everything was great. I got the carpet picked out. I got to schedule that with Home Depot as soon as this guy gets busy on the, getting the house, the room done. Which I'm going to show you all these pictures and videos. I mean, you're going to see what I'm doing with this thing. I ain't playing around. So I'm thinking to myself, if my mom's right, and again, she pretty much is going to be right, someone's about to get them a badass little office space / man cave / whatever. I call it the crypto cave because that's what I call it, but they're about to get hooked up. They're going to love it in there. Fiber optic cable run to the house for internet and everything else. AC, you know what I mean? It's going to be right. It'll be really good. So someone's about to get hooked up, but I'm like, wait a minute. I got all those solar panels in the garage that I was telling myself, hey, when I get some time to get this thing going, after the crypto cave's done, I pay for that and that kind of thing. I want to put these solar panels on the roof of the garage. Cut my electric bill probably in half from what I've, my basic calculation on that I figured. And actually, I think I need to get on over here because we turning. Anyway, so I'm thinking to myself now, well, do I go through the trouble and put all that stuff on? I mean, you might argue, well, yeah, Joe, it adds value to the house. Of course, it's going to add some value to the house for sure. You got 5,500 watts. You've got an inverter, grid tie. It's going to feed back, to the grid kind of a thing. Hey, that's, someone's going to save potentially $150 a month or whatever it is, on electric. Now, this is interesting. Very interesting in the worst kind of way. I normally leave my job, get on Highway 60, and go down right off the bat, Interstate I-75, head north. And I can see as I'm getting close to it, parking lot practically, barely creeping. Not good. Go down to 301, Highway 301. And as I'm going to Highway 301, there's another road called Falkenberg, which I almost was going to take because I can take that down and then cut across to go to 301 or get back on the interstate if the interstate looks good over there. And as I'm driving up to that, it almost looks like a parking lot going down the street. That sucks. Let me go ahead and go on down to 301. I'm on 301 right now, and as I'm turning, oh my God, not a parking lot, but it's like the rest of them, we're just creeping. How in the hell are all three of these things almost parking lot status? What the hell's happening? It must be a major shutdown somewhere, like of epic proportions. So here I'm talking about this crap, thinking, whatever, but, and I left work a little early. Not right at 5. I left like at 4:40 something. So now on to the crypto stuff. I took a few notes, just minor, off of Cliff High's report. It just came out again. If you want to get it, halfpasthuman.com, and the report's right there. China appears to be getting back on board. They will be back on board with cryptos. It appears later this year. As a matter of fact, possibly by the end of this month, we might start hearing some positive news out of China on the cryptocurrency front. Some old ICOs, old as the ones we've seen this year, maybe some you're in currently, as well as the new ones that are going to hit us next year, 2018, are going to start taking off nicely. So we're going to, again, how I talk about hold some of these, they're not doing well, whatever, don't take your loss, just hold out, hold if you can. Some of these good ones, man, they have a good model. They're going to run with, they took the ball and ran with it. They just need time. Pillar is one I keep thinking of every time. But there's going to be other ones. So it looks like some of these ones we've been sitting on are going to do nicely in 2018, as well as the new ones that come out that address some of the things that maybe these ones haven't been addressing. So, Bitcoin. He's talking about his data and how sometimes it shifts on the timeline, and it has shifted. Not too far awfully crazy or anything, but some stuff has shifted. But he's talking about, remember, the $13,800 price point for Bitcoin happening in early 2018. Well, it may not be quite as early that we see that. However, he says the new numbers are showing $20,000, not $13,800 for Bitcoin. He says what we can't tell is if is it the new Bitcoin, because it's going to fork again. We've already got Bitcoin and then Bitcoin Cash, which was the one that it forked off to, if you will, fork off. And it's not doing so hot. $400, $500, $600, $400, $500, $600. Meanwhile, Bitcoin, $4,000, $4,200, $4,400. So what he's saying is, I don't know which one is going to be the one. It certainly doesn't seem like Bitcoin Cash. But the Bitcoin Now, which is just Bitcoin, BTC, or whatever the next one's going to be called, coming out soon when it forks. So he says it might be a combination of all of their values equaling $20,000. But it very well could be just the coin itself, like what we see now today at $4,400, being $20,000. And the other ones are just a fraction. This one's $1,000, that one's $1,500, whatever. He says, I don't know, can't tell. I personally think the latter thing I just said is going to be what it is, because we've already seen that with Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin remained king. Bitcoin Cash came out. The beautiful thing is, if you had 10 Bitcoin, let's say in this example, it doesn't matter how many you had. If you had 10 Bitcoin when it forked, you got 10 Bitcoin Cash automatically, including your 10 Bitcoin you had, BTC. So you have 10 Bitcoin times $4,000, you have $40,000, plus an additional 10 Bitcoin Cash, that's $500, let's say, that's $5,000. It's almost like it's free, right? So whenever this thing forks again, I'm just going to tell you now, be rest assured, JSNP4 is going to be moving some of his cryptos, even if it's temporarily, whatever, over into Bitcoin. So that I've got, 20 or 30 or whatever I can come up with, Bitcoin. Now, I'm not going to liquidate all my, tokens, but some of the ETH and Litecoin, I'll have to see what's happening at the time, because I really don't want to to be honest, I don't want to touch my Litecoin. I may have to unload some ETH and whatever, but set it in Bitcoin so that I can capitalize when it forks again, like everyone else did last time or whatever. So that's interesting, you know. Wow. Ripple coin, remember Ripple? Cliff High had an absolutely epic prediction on Ripple back when it happened earlier this year, 2017, when he said when it was 2 cents, 1 cent, 3 cents, he said in his report, it's going to be jumping bigly. I forgot the exact word for word, but it's going to be jumping bigly. I came out, told y'all about it. Hey, he says this. I, foolishly, didn't get into it at that time, but a few of you did and made it out like freaking kings, living large off of the move you made because it went to 39 cents or so. And you got in at a penny, 2 pennies, right? Do the math. I know the math. So absolutely incredible return. But then he said later, it's going to kind of go flat. And again, I came out to tell all y'all, hey, those y'all that had potentially sitting on this Ripple, you may want to unload because it's not going to be doing so well in the near future. That exactly, again, thanks to Cliff, happened again. So it's been flat. There's been no real news on Ripple. It's been 20 cents, 22 cents, 18 cents. You know, it's gone really nowhere. And now he says Ripple coin, and you know, a little bit more than what I'm about to tell you now, a couple paragraphs, but Ripple coin 2018 due to the banking problems and financial problems we're going to have, because you know, everyone's like, well, isn't Ripple the kind of the bankster coin? Yeah, it is. But there's going to be a real use for it for the banksters as we get into next year. And Ripple, he said, there'll be some big moves up and down. But again, volatility, there's money to be made every time. And if Ripple starts to take off handsomely, you may have an opportunity to kill it again with Ripple. Now, it's currently around 20 something, you know, 20 cents or so. There's no price point. He doesn't know where it's going to go to, $1, $2. He has no idea. Maybe it just goes to 60 cents, 80 cents, whatever. If it goes to 80 cents, would you like a 4 times return? Not a bad play, right? So that was it. The other thing I'm just going to end this video on, but what I'm going to end this video on is those of you out there, I don't want to play this ICO game, and you know, I got into this one and it was okay at first, but I didn't sell, and now I'm sitting on it and it's down, and I wish I would have sold, because then I could have took some of the money and gotten to another one, and now I got to kind of force myself to wait because I don't want to take any kind of loss, so I'm sitting on this one and that one over there that are kind of flat or down a little bit. Right. This is for those of you that don't want to play the ICO game. And remember, there is a risk-reward factor here. There's risk, and the risk is the ICO doesn't do well, you know, after it comes out. After you've gotten in on the ICO, when it's released on the exchanges, doesn't do as well. There's that risk. But the reward, as we've seen, can be very handsome. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 times return. Rapidly. We've seen it, right? That's, again, a risk-reward thing. That's up for you to decide. If you want to do the safest thing, okay? If you just want to do the safest thing, I'm adding one coin to my normal list based off of what I read in Cliff High's report just now, today. I always tell you the safest thing, and the beautiful thing about this is you can go right onto Coinbase or Gemini, although mainly Coinbase, because Coinbase offers Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, whereas Gemini only allows Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now maybe they'll change that. Again, I haven't been to Gemini in quite a while, so I don't know if they've changed that already and they now allow Litecoin. I have no idea. But I do know if you go to Coinbase, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum, you can purchase it right there. And as soon as you're done with that, you can transfer it over to your Exodus wallet, which you should have, and then do your backup and all that kind of thing to get it off the exchange. I'm adding an additional coin to that, the safe play, which is that Dash coin. Dash, which he said earlier this year, which correctly he was right, would do well. It's going to go up like Bitcoin's going to go up and all the other ones. It'll go up with them. They've got a good thing going on. It's not going to go epic, of course, like anything worthy of noting, like, oh my God, it's going to go crazy. Like he's mentioned on some coins, just the data didn't say that was the case, so that's why I didn't say it. But Dash is going to do well in 2018, along with these other coins, by the way. the ones I've just mentioned, and the crypto space generally. But just from what I read in his report, it made me think, may want to add a few, not a few, whatever you can afford, to your portfolio, add some Dash Coin. And again, if there's dips, as we see from time to time, buy the effing dip. BTFD. Buy the effing dip. Add to your stock, right? Add to your collection, if you will, collecting the coins, so to speak. So, interesting. Never thought I'd be moving. I love this place. My mom, you are moving. I see it within about 2 years. Not within, but in about 2 years, you are moving. And all I can think of, what in the hell could possibly make me really, truly want to move? You know what I mean? What could make me want to move? And I don't know. The one thing I thought of a possibility, again, this would be like John Teeter stuff, you know what I mean? And that would be, this country's going to hell in a handbasket faster now than we thought, at least in this part of time, you know. And I don't like what I'm seeing. And hey, where did John Teeter say his family moved to? He moved into Omaha, Nebraska. Opportunity just came up, guys, for me to buy a place in Omaha, Nebraska, or thereabouts, somewhere around there. And due to the political and crazy climate over here out in the city zones, I'm getting the hell out of here. And, so that's what my mind tells me that would be a reason why you would sell that house that you love so much to get the hell out of here. But I don't know that that's going to be it, because we don't know that any of these things are going to happen like that. There just may be an opportunity that, again, presents itself to me, and it might simply be somebody who, God knows who. We understand you own this house over here. Yeah, I do. We love it so much. We want that house so bad, especially with what you did with your crypto cave. Just took it over the top. And I'm willing to offer you blah, blah, blah for this house. And I have to sit there and say, Evelyn, what do you think? Who I'm sure promptly will say, let's get on out of here. As Jeff Foxworthy said to his dogs on the porch, get on out of here. Get. All right. That would be a, motivational reason for me to move. But again, I can't come up with anything, right? I don't have these. First of all, I'm not psychic at all. At least I don't think anyways. I can't give you. I've only had a couple of dreams in my life of us getting like robbed, broken in something, and I woke up the next day, went to work, which was at the auto repair shop I worked at when I was younger, a lot younger, and someone tried to come in 2 different times, 2 different people, to try to run in and steal some tools and take off. Another time they were trying to break in the middle of the night. We had some cameras up that caught them, and they emailed me, and we were able to call the police, and they nabbed the guy. Basically, a guy who was on drugs, addicted, truck driver, goes to work every day, but couldn't afford his drugs on just that paycheck, so he had to break in and steal stuff. Anyways, not that I'm feel bad for this guy or anything, but just there's society for us. I covered all the time, but I did have those dreams, and then next day it happened. That was in the 1990s, mid to late 90s. I've never had anything like that happen again. I'll be honest, I wish I did. I'd love to have dreams at night. Hey, I had a such and such dream, and I can expect something to happen the next day. That'd be so cool. But I don't. So at least my mom, that's never faded. She's got it. She's had it. It ain't going ain't going away. And my mom, I'm telling you, she nails it when she reads people. And I didn't ask her anything. I just flat out was sitting there and getting an email, and hey, here you go. Yeah, you're moving in 2 years. What? Are you sure? Absolutely. I saw the image. You're moving. And so again, if we could only look into the future, why am I going to be moving? Where am I going to be moving? I want to know these things. But again, 2 years or so, whatever. And I do remember Cliff High telling me, because I've been in the report about 3 times now, which he didn't publish for public consumption in the report. But he said, hey, some of my friends, close people I consider friends, I run them sometimes, without them even knowing. I just kind of run their name in the bots, and they come back. They normally don't come back with anything. You did, and he mentioned a few things. I mentioned one to you guys before, where a near workplace miss at work. which I thought was insane for him to say that. I'm an IT and I sit down on a desk all day. What possibly could happen to me at work? Well, almost got my foot shocked off. In exactly the time frame he said this should be coming up, which was fascinating. My video is probably still on YouTube. I don't think I ever deleted it. I had no reason to. But one of the things he told me is he's in something like and I forgot the amount of years, 2 or 3 years, whatever it was, basically told me around the year 2020. So I think when he said it, may have been last year, 3 years from now, something like that. 2 or 3 years, you're going to be like super successful kind of thing, you know, like I don't know the words he used, but maybe financially set and whatever else goes with that. And I'm like, wow, because he's like, you're in the reporting. And I'm like, oh no, you know, I don't want to be scared to go to drive or go to work. What? He's like, it's not bad this time, you know, and told me that. I'm like, oh wow. And I'm thinking, then what is it going to be? Is it going to be this remote control program I developed I was telling everybody about, where you can control the computer remotely, like log me in or team viewer or whatever? Maybe it's that, you know, but I haven't really touched it. It's functional, but I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to gear up and try to do that. And I have to hire somebody and pay. I got to get customers first, and you know. But I have a day job, and I can't do that while I'm doing the day job. Like, it's just a headache. It works. They use it at work. My bosses, actually, they love it. But I don't know that that's going to be it. Then along comes cryptocurrencies, 2017. Whoa. Maybe this is it. And I'm going to hold on to a lot of these things as long as I can. Now, like I said, I'd like to pay this house off. And when that day comes, I don't want to unload all my cryptos to pay the house off, to be honest with you. I want to sit on them and look at them and say, okay, if I wanted to pay my house off today, I could. And then maybe when it gets to the point when I've doubled that or tripled that, now it's time to pay off the house. Take a third of that to pay off the house. Keep the other 2/3 to keep playing this game, let them compile or whatever into, you know, higher highs or whatever, these cryptos. You know, that's the name of the game, obviously, that we want to do. So, I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe it's not. You know, just you know, a lot of things can happen in 2 or 3 years. So it's intriguing. It's kind of fascinating too. I'm in the Webbot report about stuff. And then the other thing my mom told me, which she said for years, when I went to Tennessee in 2013, I got a reading. When I came back, I got a reading. A while after that, I got another reading. Each and every time, she's like, I see, you know, you have your day job. I always see you working. I always see you have a job. I don't see any issues there, but I see this extra income. I see this extra I just see extra money coming to you. I just keep seeing it. And I thought to myself, well, it could be the revenue I make on these YouTube videos, the ads that show up and stuff. Maybe it's that. That'd be true. I do make money extra every month for that. It comes in, you know. But is it that much money to talk about? I don't know. I really don't know. But she said each time, regardless, you're retiring early. Like, I see you retiring, you know, maybe like at 50 or something, like early. Like earlier than, you know, maybe normal. Maybe 50, something like that. And I'm like, huh. Again, in my mind, what am I going to be doing that could potentially give us extra income, save up, pay stuff off to where I could retire that early? Which means I need to also have some kind of passive income coming in, retirement income or something, when I do decide to retire. Right? I'm just trying to put all this in my head, and I just don't know. And I want to know, but we don't have a crystal ball. My magic 8 ball is of no use here. Its powers are useless here. So, anyways, done talking. I could probably talk forever as I'm sitting in this horrible traffic, just to keep occupied. But I'm gonna go ahead and do you a favor and end this sucker now.